Welcome to the reaction show. We're going to be talking about the latest news and reaction to some of the clips and things that we've been seeing all over social media. It's all popping off. And I talked about it in the last video when I talked about the interview between Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Gary Neville. So we're going to be reacting to some of those and also some interview with BBC Sport. So basically, we just react to the videos and talk about what these means, what these interviews mean for Man United, and then we can kind of take it from there and kind of analyze it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything to relate to Manchester United. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when we receive when we post a new video. So thank you so much. So let's get right into it. We'll start from the first video. So I'll pretty much start from this one, not the one on your screen. Yeah. So we'll start from the first video and then just kind of build it from there and then take it to the next level. But yeah, just let me know your thoughts, let me know your feelings. And yeah, so the first one is about Sir Jim Ratcliffe and what he thought about the players. So, and this is what he had to say.
Some are not good enough. Some probably are overpaid. We're buying. Some are not good enough. Some probably are overpaid. We're buying Anthony. We're buying Casemiro. We're buying Anana. We're buying Hoyland. We're buying Sancho. Um, these are all things from the past, but whether we like it or not, we've inherited those things, or we have to sort that out. So, for Sancho, who now obviously plays for Chelsea, and we pay half his wages, we're paying £17 million to buy him this summer. So it takes time for us to move away from the past into a new place in the future.
Were you saying that those players aren't good enough for United?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that we've
Or overpaid, or what are you getting at there?
well, some are not good enough. Some probably are overpaid. But for us to mould the squad that we are fully responsible for and accountable for will take time.
So
Some are not good enough.
So we're going to break it down to what he said. He said that some of the players are not good enough, some are good enough, some are probably overpaid, and that currently some of them who are supposedly not good enough are on loan and we still have to pay their wages. For example, Sancho. I don't know. Sancho has to always come up. He has not covered himself in glory. So I'm guessing or believing that that is the situation. And he says, for example, Sancho, we're paying half his wages, and we're paying about 70 million, you know, when we paid 70 million to get him, right? So it's like so what he's just literally doing is stating that some of the mistakes that the club has made over the years and that we're bearing the brunt of it. So that's Sir Jim Ratcliffe to BBC Sport. So it's revealing and it's interesting to see that obviously we know there's problems, and the reason why reacting to the video is going to come up in the next couple of videos relating to Manchester United. And we all see and we know the problems, and the problems are not just on the pitch, they're also off the pitch. But he talked about some of the things that go on the pitch and some of the things that go on off the pitch. So let's react to the next video on our list.
Manchester United would have run out of cash by the end of this year, by the end of 2025. I don't want to see Manchester United where it's been for the last 12 years.
That's pretty revealing. He said Manchester United would have run out of cash by the end of the year 2025. So we'll probably not have anything with regards to cash. This is in response to the question about, you know, where what with PSR and all of that. And he said he wanted Manchester United to be where Real Madrid are right now. And in the question, I think in the question by Gary Neville, he said that we are top three in the club in the world when it comes to like revenue and all that. But when it comes to physical cash, there's a problem. So he said Man United would have run out of cash by the year 2025. Let's keep going.
I want to see Manchester United where Real Madrid is, or where Manchester City has been, or where Liverpool is. That's where I want to see Manchester United. My only interest here is returning Manchester United back to greatness again.
Yep. He said his only interest is to return Manchester United back to greatness again. Let's keep going.
Where do you want to spend the money? Do you want to spend it on operating the club, or do you want to spend it on the squad? Because if you spend it on the squad, you get better results. And, you know, at the end of the day, what's Manchester United here for if it's not to win trophies and silverware? What we want to do is invest in the best players in the world, if we can, rather than spend it on, I'm afraid, free lunches.
So he's talking about the cost-cutting measures, and they were asked questions about free lunches for the staff and all of that. So he says we'd rather spend the money on the on better players than spending the money or instead of spending it on more like operating costs, because he says, oh, with better players you have the opportunity to win trophies and all of that. So he would rather spend it on better players than spending it on free lunches. And I don't know where I stand on that, because obviously there are some Manchester United um, staff that basically earn a living working for the club and sacrifice their blood, sweat, and tears for the club, and basically get paid some money, but also it will be a good thing to give them, some lunch and all of that. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to the ownership, trying to cut costs to save money and also to help the club become better. So he's talking about building a lean business, right? So let me know your thoughts and feelings about that. Let's keep going.
Also, is it because the club's just been spending money needlessly? We've got a body language concern.
Yeah, this is where I wanted to talk about. So he said the club has been spending money recklessly and all of that. That one of the roles that was made redundant was a role called the body language consultant. So it's like, we don't need that. According to him, he says we don't need that. So let's keep going.
There's all sorts of stuff we're spending money on that we don't need to be spending money on.
Yeah, so he's talking about cost cutting measures for the club and all of that. It was good that he had to come out at this time to talk. I mean, we didn't have that with the Glazers, so I mean, it's a good positive to have Sergeant Ratcliffe come and talk about things like these. So I think the next video is one of the interviews with. I mean, one clip of the interview with Gary Neville.
Are you finding it hard, the scrutiny, the attention, the criticism?
Well, I used to enjoy picking a newspaper up in the morning, having a cup of coffee and a croissant, which it's not quite so enjoyable anymore. But I think the way, I mean, we've all got our sensitivities, and it isn't pleasant to read some of the press coverage. But
So he's talking about the press on and the coverage of Manchester United and all of that. So it says, "Oh, we've all got our sensitivities, but it is not pleasant to me. Some of the press coverages, but it is what it is. Keep going."
the way I get through it is that I believe what we're doing is the right thing, and I believe what we're doing has to be done to get United back to where United should be, which are the winning, silverware and winning trophies and things like that. And we have to go through this. I mean, if you don't like where United have been for the last 12 seasons since Sir Alex retired, then I think, ergo, you have to accept there has to be a period of change, otherwise it's just going to continue. And change is always uncomfortable and unpleasant at times, and that's sort of where we are at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, so talked about changes at the club and all of that, and he intends to get the club to the level where he needs to get to, needs it to be, and that if we don't like what is going on off the pitch, is because change comes at a cost and all of that. So, yeah, I mean, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is saying some things that the fans want to hear, some things that the fans don't want to hear, and all of that. And we're going to see maybe an interaction between him and Gary Neville with regards to some of the other things as it relates to redundancies. But let's keep going.
Do you understand why the fans are angry? Obviously, yesterday they protested at the Arsenal match. Do you understand?
So he's talking about the fans' protest, even though he talked about the first one was about the media. Obviously, Gary Neville himself has also been critical of the club itself, even though I've never seen where he criticized the Glazers in the last couple of months. But when it comes to criticizing the players, he's chief of those of criticism for the players, albeit not constructive as we would expect. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's keep going.
And where it comes from.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, well, I'm a fan as well. Remember, so you know.
He says he's a fan. Sergio Ratcliffe is a fan, just to emphasize.
We're not, fans are not going to be happy languishing down at the bottom, in the bottom half of the table. And yeah, I get that, and I sympathise, but I didn't think this year was going to be a walk in the park.
Exactly. Predicted that the year was not going to be a walk in the park, but a few mistakes here and there, which we'll hear in the next video. But yeah,
it was always going to be difficult. And if you look at the squad that Ruben's got available, he's only got half a squad, honestly.
Are you finding it hard, the scrutiny?
He said Ruben Amorim has got half the squad. If you look at the squad that he has, and the squad that he pretty much has half the squad. Let's keep going. So the next one is about, let's listen to this. Oh, okay, we have a problem there, technical glitch. We'll go to, yeah, just give me. So basically, he was asked about certain things with regards to how the club's been run and all of that, and he talked about a couple of other things as it relates to running Manchester United. And obviously, it's not something that we as fans like to hear or see, but it's where we are right now. And the truth is, we have to accept it. We have to really accept it and believe that we as a fan base, we as a club, we are growing and we're rebuilding and all of that. It's not easy. It's not something that we love, but it's something that we have to accept. I don't know where I stand on, I don't know where I stand on other things when as it relates to the redundancies and all of that. But I believe that for Ruben Amorim, if it's something that needs to be done, then it has to be done. Because I believe in the ability to, make do with what you have and build on what you have and all of that. And if cost cutting is going to make the club to get to where it's supposed to be, then cut the cost, but also
what he's
do
got
it wisely.
Out of the players that he's got available, I think he's
oh
done
sorry
well.
let me get the video that I wanted us to watch and then build it from there. Yeah, so let's get there. So speaking on the cost cutting measures and wanting to get Man United to the place where he sees the club, this is what Ruben Amorim had to say to Gary Neville on the overlap in that interview.
Would you have sacked Eric if you'd have found another manager after the FA Cup final success?
So we talked about Eric Ten Hag, and I think we'll play another video with relates to how it went with the sporting director and the mistakes that were made and all of that. Let's keep going.
Early for us to make a big decision in reality.
So he said it was too early for the club to make a big decision because we literally just got the new managerial team or management team in place for barely a minute, right?
According to the benefit of the doubt.
And you regret that, or do you feel?
Yeah, it was the wrong decision. Too early for us to make a big decision in reality. We gave Eric the benefit of the doubt.
And you regret that, or do you feel?
Yeah, it was the wrong decision. We made the wrong decision. It was an error. I mean, I know, a lot of people have a problem with the Glazer family and what have you, but
rightly so, Jim.
Well, to an extent, but remember,
they've run the club. I mean, what the problems you've talked about running the club.
So this is one of the first few times, or one of the many times that Gary Neville, I know I said it earlier that Gary Neville hasn't really talked about the Glazers ever since Sir Jim Ratcliffe came in, but this is one of the very few times that Gary Neville has spoken about the Glazers, and I think he's arguing with Sir Jim Ratcliffe about this, and then let's see where this takes us.
The £270 million that has been increased has been under their stewardship. The poor performance, the poor recruitment, the debt, the increasing debt, it's all on them.
So he talked about it like blame. If you want to watch it, just go to the overlap on Gary Neville's YouTube channel. The next one we have is basically the next one we have is basically the interview about the sporting director and 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 the mistake with Eric Ten Hag. This one is to the BBC, and he talked about it and he broke it down. But if you want to watch the rest, I'm just playing you clips from what I got over the internet. So I think that's the last video before we play the next one with regards to Bruno Fernandes and the defense of Bruno Fernandes. So, yep. So this is what what Sir Jim Ratcliffe had to say about the situation with the sporting director. Let me get the sound out. Yep. So the sporting director, we're gonna go from the top again.
He spent around as much time on gardening leave as he actually did in the job
Yep.
before you went your separate ways. What can you explain what exactly went wrong there?
No. It was an error on our part.
Error, okay.
And all I would say is chemistry, really. I don't really want to go into the details.
So chemistry
It's
was
not
the
just me
issue.
that makes the decision. It involves, that management team. And if you look at the time that we made the decision about Eric, the management team hadn't been in place more than 5 minutes, really.
Yep.
It was a very difficult decision to make at short notice. To what extent Eric maybe wasn't performing as we'd hoped, or it was the circumstances in which Eric was trying to perform. And we couldn't get to the bottom of that. The Eric Ten Hag, the Dan Ashworth decisions were errors. I think there were some mitigating circumstances, but ultimately they were errors. I accept that, and I apologise for that.
Exactly. So it's pretty much straightforward as it relates to where Sir Jim Ratcliffe is or lies when it comes to, that he said he apologized for, where we are. He wanted, Eric Ten Hag to succeed, but it could be due to certain factors that could have led to him not succeeding. But what can we do? We have to just work with what we have. Eric Ten Hag has been sacked. We move on. There's no need to kind of rehash old stories and try to build agendas or come up with things that will just ruin the club and put the club back in the mud again and all of that. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts and feelings about that. And we are going to go to the next video. And this one is from a big YouTube channel. And it's from United View channel, United View. So, this is what I think United View was talking about Bruno Fernandes and how he turns up for Manchester United, even in clutch situations. So we're gonna go. So here is the video that I was talking to you about, and it was Flex from United View. So let's get into it. This is Flex from United View, and this is what he had to say about Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes, and for far too many times,
Hold on, let me
even
just
Roy
take it
Keane,
from the top.
and when you're looking for a bit of magic, when you're looking for a little bit of quality, up steps Bruno Fernandes. And for far too many times, even Roy Keane, we've spoken about it, in a season like this, when we are at the worst point, we should not be speaking Bruno Fernandes' name. That criticism is so misguided.
It's misguided
within the context of this season. Ever since Bruno Fernandes has come to this club in 2021, he has been consistent in terms of his output for his role in the team. What is his role in the team?
Not
to
2021.
create, boss, and score. That's my role. This season he's been more adaptable. He's had to play deeper. He's playing passes longer.
Said that.
His numbers are still high. There's no excuse.
Yep.
When we were second, Bruno Fernandes was getting all the plaudits. Was it all down to Bruno Fernandes that we were second and everyone lauded him? And now all of a sudden the team's poor and Bruno Fernandes' numbers are still what they were when we were second. He's the
Exactly,
problem.
for 10
Make
years.
that make sense.
Yep.
When you're seeing a captain in Martin Odegaard who gets lauded every single week and the output's not the same. If Bruno played for that Arsenal side and
scored goals.
Odegaard played for this Man United side,
Odegaard
what would
will
we see?
be crap.
I'm pretty sure we'll see Bruno excelling and we would not see Martin Odegaard doing what Bruno Fernandes is doing within this team. So
Exactly.
what a free kick.
Yep. Pretty much straightforward. Bruno Fernandes has turned up for Man United, and I've said it over and over again. Now I defend Ruben Amorim. I'm being called the Amorim defender, and now I'm also going to be called the Bruno defender. Even though I'm not a player FC merchant, but the truth is, Bruno has shown up for 10 years running with stats of over 10 goals and 10 assists per season, except for one, probably one season when he got less than 10 assists or less than 10 goals. But he has always shown up 10 goals, 10 assists every season, minimum. So not just for Man United, also for Sporting. So it's long overdue. His respect is long overdue. In fact, he should be getting towards legendary status, right? So that's what I think, and that's what I believe. And Bruno is basically um it's worthy of the flowers. He needs to get his flowers. So that's it. That's basically the reaction to some of the news and the videos that are going on social media. There's still others, including Rasmus Højlund and all of that. But yeah, truth is, the player is lacking confidence. I watched closely the two chances he had. Two of the chances he had yesterday. I mean, just at the moment he touched the ball, was about to shoot, it got nicked. I mean, he could have probably done something different or approached it differently, known that someone was coming, but that's actually a player without confidence. But yeah, let's just back the players, back them to deliver. And they will come good. I saw, at least for a start, I saw a positive and and uh constructive criticism of Rasmus Højlund with the fact that obviously when Rooney said that he's got talent and he's backing the player to at least do things from the basics before getting to kind of start doing things repetitively and coming up with the goods and all of that. So it is what it is. Let's keep going, let's keep building, and let's keep growing. So thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Do not forget to, drop a comment in the section and let me know your thoughts and feelings about like all of these videos and what Sergeant Ratcliffe has had to say. If you want to watch the full video, go and watch it on Larry Neville's YouTube channel. And then, yeah, we can take it from there. Take care and goodbye and God bless.